Oh wait. Oh wait, my thing was muted. Can you hear me? I didn't realize my microphone was muted. I just checked it now, good thing. You like this game? This could be the end. 100 coins. Oh yeah, this is a remake. It's a fun game. It's a good game. How could we lose? What have you been up to? Sorry that, if you're wondering, by the way, yes, there is an audio delay by like a second. It's because, when I use the audio splitter from my Switch to my PC, there's a buzzing sound, so I had to order, a grounder that I plug the aux cable into, so it limits the buzz and I can just hear the audio in real time without like a second delay. Oh yeah. But yeah, if you're wondering why, like, that's why the audio is, like, you know, delayed by, like, around a second. I don't know if you noticed. But I ordered that. I'll get it tomorrow morning. I did it. Yeah, and I'm actually playing this through OBS too, which is kind of like, not that great. No, yeah, like, I'm playing it by, no, like, the audio is delayed, like, regardless. I don't mean, like, stream delay, I mean, like, the actual in-game audio is, like, behind by, like, a second. I could show you, because like I could put on the audio in real time. The only thing is like I can't hear it. That's the dumb thing about it. Yeah, so like yeah, I'll switch over to the in-game audio. Yeah, but the reason I don't use this because I can't hear it yet. So this is what the audio sounds like, you know, in real time. But for me, it's muted because I need the I need to get the audio thing tomorrow morning, the audio ground. Let's see, this is how the audio should be, but the problem is I can't hear it. You can only hear it on stream, so the game's like completely mute. You see what I mean? Parts of the game are the most annoying. The Princess Peach sections are the worst. I'm gonna switch back. It's so I can hear the game. Time to get naked. I wonder if anyone heard that from the hallway. I just realized. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These are like the most boring parts of the whole game. Skulldog? Yeah. What about my cat? I know there's like plugins you can do that where you click like a point redeem and you can do it, but I don't know how to set it up. Cammy Koopa hasn't been seen literally since like 2004 in the original game. Wait, what are we talking about? I'm high, sorry. Seen what? Look, it's Super Bowser Bros. Ham. Oh yeah, yes. I did it. That's easy. Yeah, it's like little mini games in this in Paper Mario here. Like after you beat a chapter and you play as Peach and Bowser, you get to do a level like that with Bowser like every time. It's kind of cool. He's stupid. He falls for it. It's a poster. He thinks it's the real Princess Peach. Are you a fast reader? I'm a fast reader. That's why I go through dialogue quick. Come to my castle with me. Clear she still have come enjoy the shoes and left speechless. The mind of the Bane is, well, rather complicated. It was kind of funny. Have you seen this game before? Played this game? No. My life's treasure. I'd rather die to get my life-size Peach poster. Poster? Oh my goodness me. Didn't see that coming. Great. Just great. I look like the huge many of guys who talk to posters. Whatever, sure. Yeah, this came out on the GameCube originally, but the remake is like so much better. It's puties, aren't they cute? Oh yeah, this is like the best Paper Mario game. And then Super Paper Mario is like, I would say, the second best one. I hope that one gets a remake. And then the original N64 Paper Mario, I would say, is the third best. Like the top three. Jabble! He looks funny. Oh wait, did I get the badge? I forgot, I could put more badges on. Oh yeah, so this is kind of cool. You could change the music to the original GameCube music. It's an in-game badge for free. So this is what the original music sounds like on the GameCube. It's kind of cool. You can switch back and forth whenever you want. Oh, I don't think I got it, yeah. Under the waterfall? Yeah, I knew it. The little tiny waterfall. Wait. Wait till I go out. So this is the original GameCube music from the original release in 2004. Right now. It's actually kind of cool. And then, yeah, I'm gonna turn this off in a moment, and then you can hear the difference. Male. I don't know why she has big boobs for some reason, but okay. Like right in its face. Mario's looking at her boobs. I mean, just saying. I don't know why they designed her like that. Like, it's kind of funny, but for a kid's game, I'm like, it's a little questionable. He's got to put the little titty on the front, and there you go. That'd be funny as hell. Wait. But what are you doing? You're just not doing much, just watching. Like, what'd you do today? Anything new? Woo! Oh, a new Netflix show? Oh, okay. Yeah, Stephen King, yeah. I like his work, but I don't like him as a person much. Yeah. What I don't like about him as a person is like his the comments he's made about like political stuff. You know, just keep that to yourself. Because then, you know, that just turns people away, because you get there's people that agree with you, people that don't, then you alienate more of an audience. For the most part. I mean, you know, but still, freedom of speech, so. The only thing that's why that's an issue is because, like, nowadays, depending on your political views, people will, like, blacklist you and stuff, and it's not right. Marco the Griffin. Hi, Marco. How are you? Did I get rated? Oh, wait, no, I don't think I did. Well, what's up, Marco? Paper Mario. Hi, Marco.
Hi.
What have you been doing? Where have you been?
And just
Oh, I forgot I was streaming on Discord. I can't hear you. I gotta turn you up. You're at 100. I turned you up to like 120.
oh wow.
125.
I'm just getting ready for my flight tomorrow.
Where to? What are you up to?
I'm flying back to Boston.
Oh, where'd you go?
Well, I'm currently in Florida right now.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be moving back to the East soon. Wait, did I word that right? But yeah, I'm gonna be moving back east soon. I don't know if you knew.
I might have heard about it actually. I think at some point, I think you mentioned it somewhere.
No, yeah, I shared in my server in the announcements. No, yeah, because I have to. Like, for a bit because of medical. Because last night and two nights before that, I had 2 panic attacks.
Yeah, I heard.
It was on my stream, like when I was streaming, but I had to unpublish it so no one, you know, no one can hear that. Because like I didn't expect that to happen while I was streaming. Like it was obviously, you know. But yeah, I just privated it, exported it. What were you saying? And thank you, Red Cake. What, Marco?
No, is that I'm going back to Boston because, well, my semester's starting again, and I have a convention to go to.
That's cool. You like this game? You like Paper Mario?
Paper Mario, I think, is pretty cool. I mean, I haven't played it myself, but I've seen a couple things of it.
Yeah, this is a remake. It's like the best game too in the whole series.
Oh wow.
I'm going up now. The chapter 3 I'm going to right now, it's like my favorite chapter in the game. We're going in the sky. Look at the big boobies. She's like a cloud with boobs. Everything alright? You're pretty quiet.
Yeah. I'm getting so many messages right now. It's like kind of insane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm getting a lot of messages. It's because yeah, people are telling me like, "Oh, you're flying," and there's someone saying, someone's telling me to be careful. I'm like, what?
Hmm. I mean, I fly often.
I don't know. Apparently, someone's telling me to stay safe in DC because I have a layover in DC.
Stay safe from what?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like some kind of political thing. I don't know too much about it, but
I think I know. Don't listen to them. Don't worry about it.
No, they're warning me, just saying because I'm Hispanic. That's literally why they're warning me right now. But
No, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I respect everyone's views. Like, I'm conservative, you know, and
yeah,
but,
I'm still figuring out what I am. So.
You know, so like, but like, I don't let political opinions, deter relationships and friendships, because that's not right.
Yeah, it's not.
Like, I'm friends with someone who's a liberal, and he goes to those protests and stuff, but he doesn't care that I vote for Trump and I'm conservative. We're still friends.
I mean, yeah, I'm literally friends with like some people who are like very, very conservative and stuff, but they're also like really nice like people, like surprisingly, and like they're actually really kind, and they're probably one of the people that
I've been told I am too, yeah. I mean, would you say from how long you've known me?
I mean, I could tell. I mean, I've seen some of your posts and stuff too, and either way, I don't even have a problem with it. It's not gonna like tear me.
No, I mean like
a friend.
Wait, what post? I'm confused.
I've only seen like I think like oh my god. So I have like lost friends over the whole thing that happened in like earlier this semester. It was
what?
It was. So I have lost friends over the thing that happened with Charlie Kirk. I lost friends over that. Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. Over what?
So that I lost friends from the whole Charlie Kirk thing that happened. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness! It divided so many people.
It's just not right. Like,
it's not right. Like,
no one deserves that, regardless of their opinions.
Like, I know plenty of people who are like even like very liberal, and they say that that's just not right. That's just fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos of people like celebrating it, and I'm like, that's fucked up.
I'm like, that's like, no. I don't know. First of all, I don't even know where I am politically at all. Like, I'm still discovering myself in that terms of that. But even then, like, this is just messed up.
Yeah, that's why I stay away from those protests, because I know a lot of people like that are there.
Yeah.
Like, I look at what I usually do is I look at both sides to everything, and I form my my own opinion based off of that.
Based off of it, yeah. I mean, I know.
And I don't listen to just media. Like, if I go out and if I see things, then yeah, that also affects my judgment too. And actually, yeah. What do you say?
That I remember like when it happened that I had to call my parents because I was like. I did not expect to see like that on Twitter, the actual video. I had to call my parents.
Well, yeah. Thankfully, I did not. So, what I didn't. But that's just who? Like a random person? You don't know?
No. It was someone from like a server.
Why would someone share that? That's not.
No, it's because they said dude, something happened. And they said I would advise they said it's a trigger warning, but that this happened.
You don't need to share that though. You can just say it in words.
I know. I didn't
Like-
know what it was, but I had to call my parents again. I was like, it was something.
It's really, really sad that there's people
Yeah.
like that.
My roommate was like, oh, my roommate was like, oh fuck yeah, like I was like, are you kidding me, man?
Did you talk with them? Because I hope you said something because that's fucked up to do.
Yeah, I did say like listen, man, like I know you're very like I know like you may not agree with this, but still like this is just fucked up. Like this is like what would happen if it was someone like someone you supported, right? What if it happened to them?
Well,
if
you
were
know what
sides, now it's a
you know what
problem?
you should say to him, or if it happens again, what I bring up is two kids lost their father and the wife lost a husband, and they're young too. They're like still like only like around I think 4 or 5 years old. They didn't really get to know their own father. It's very messed up. It's sad that people are like doing that, like just because you disagree with something doesn't mean but but that person who did though, well, yeah, they're getting the was the death penalty, so they deserve it. But it's very messed up.
Yeah.
And it just makes me question society and humanity. But what are you doing right now? Let's change the topic.
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of chilling. I mean, well, I'm supposed to actually shower and like, well, I have everything packed. It's just I need to take a shower at some point because I gotta be awake by like 5 in the morning. It's like almost 11.
Okay.
But I just figured I'd see what was happening because I got bored.
I'm gonna play
I don't.
a different game in a moment here. If you want to check it out too.
Ooh.
But what else were you saying?
No, I just get bored very often late at night. I'm sure you definitely know that because you've seen I'm just awake at like really late.
I'm awake late too. I was up till like 3 in the morning last night because I couldn't fall asleep either.
Yeah, I mean, I get sent like I get sent links or different little opportunities by someone on Twitter. I forgot who they are on Twitter, but I think it's like a voice actor that finds like these that has different things that pop up on their feed, and they send me things like, oh look, they're looking for a composer. I figured you should check this out, and they just send me stuff like that. Like I barely know them, but they've been doing that kind of stuff with me, and it's kind of cool that they just do that.
Right. These are other musicians, you mean? What would you say about voice actors?
That this person is a voice actor, and
Who?
they just send me like these things. I think their name is Nick Manzo.
I'm wondering if I know them, but no, I haven't heard of them.
Apparently you follow them.
Maybe I just forgot because I follow a lot of people, so I don't remember everybody.
Yeah, you might have forgot them. They send me stuff, just for like little opportunities.
How come what they send you? Like, you mean like music stuff?
Like they send me like little things like that if there's like a post that's saying they're looking for people to send in stuff. Like they're looking for a composer for like a project or like.
What made them want to start sending you things anyway like that?
I don't know. Like I asked them that too. I was like, and because they said, hey, I only know we just met, but I really think you're a friend, and I want friends to get opportunities, and I figured I'd send these to you. Are you?
I
on
could use
Casting Call
opportunities.
Club? And they said, are you on Casting Call Club? It's more for actors, but they often need musicians and composers too.
Yo, you should refer them to me. I could use opportunities. I mean, if you're okay with that.
He does so many. Well, he commented on your thing actually.
What? Where?
On your post, yeah.
What post?
On your, let me see.
Can you link it? I don't know. What you mean on Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter. Yeah, when you about the lack of redemption, they actually commented.
Oh, was it the pinned one? How long ago? Was it recent? I forgot.
That was the one that was January 11th. I think.
Oh yeah,
Was it
and
January
it's,
11th?
and it's pronounced. It's also pronounced Lako, not Lyco.
Yeah,
I know it's a little confusing. Some people do confuse it. He commented on. Let me see, cause I forgot.
I think, or I don't. Either that or he reposted it.
What's their name again? Their username? Oh wait, never mind. Nicholas. Yeah, no, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent me a lot of stuff.
How does he have that many followers and I don't even have that many and he only joined in October? I don't get it.
I have this many followers and I got it within like a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I hope I might eventually reach 2,000, but
I don't know.
I barely use Blue Sky and I got like almost 700 on there.
What do you do?
I barely post on Blue Sky. I just post garbage and I just somehow almost have 700 followers there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I get like all these followers though. I don't know where they come from. Honestly,
I get a lot of bot follows, but I don't always have to like block them and like and stuff. It's annoying. I know the bots because they always have like the thing in their bio like campsite link or whatever it is. I don't know. It's like some random campsite thing. You get those too. They're annoying, right?
Oh yeah, they're very annoying.
I wonder why they don't crack down on that.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't.
Because it's actually, it's just really, really annoying. I don't know why they don't like get rid of them like permanently somehow. Because they can, but oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be handled with eventually, but still. So like, you just got random follows, so, like basically you're just like from posting stuff.
Yeah, or just like posting like actual garbage, like just random like photos I have on my phone. It just worked.
I think I might be. I don't know. I thought about like if it's possible I might be shadow banned because whenever I post, it never gets very any views. But like, I know I never did anything wrong, so it's like. Besides, they would just suspend you anyway at that point. Yo, do you like this game?
Which game?
One I'm playing. Yeah, you came by on my stream, remember? Where, like, I think you commented.
Yeah, I did.
I don't remember. I don't see your comment. Oh, right, your username is Gray.
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Nicholas Richard. Yeah, on there.
So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Probably showering a bit, but.
Would you get this game? You think?
I mean, I probably would. Yeah. Seems pretty chill. I like it.
Oh, it's fun, but I mean, it does get challenging. Like, you know, obviously later on in the game. I got a mystery. Ooh.
A mystery.
Are you a mystery, Marco?
Possibly.
Yeah. The mystery item in this game, in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, when you use it, it's like a roulette. It's like let's like multiple items. It could be any random item. Like you don't choose it; it's just random. What are you doing right now? Just chilling, watching?
Yeah.
Also, try increase your mic input because you're really low.
Well, like this.
Cause yeah, well you sound loud now. Let me turn you back down because I had to jump to 125.
No, that was me, like speaking really close to the mic.
Yeah,
That's why.
I have you at 100 right now. You're at default.
Yeah, it's because I have to put my head down towards the mic, which is on the left side of the laptop. It's on the speaker.
Yeah, but still, if you increase your input, it would you know, make it a little bit easier to pick up your, you know, you talking still. What's your favorite game?
That is a good question. What is my favorite game? What game?
Pregnant Racers. Would you play that?
It used to be possible. I think my favorite game used to be I think it used to be Sea of Thieves. Interesting.
Oh yeah, I have that game. Haven't played it in a while though. Secret. Oh, the pit of 100 trials. I can't do this yet. I'm too weak. Wait, why am I here? I went the wrong way. Oh wait, I need coins. That's why. Marco Polo. Hey, you're a furry, right? I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know I am. Huh.
Well, yeah.
How'd you know?
Possibly. I mean, wait. Am I remembering correctly? Because I know there's also someone else that I know people mistake for a furry, but they're not a furry. It's just
Who?
they just have like, they go by. Well, what do they go by actually? Because oh yeah, I think it's Bagel or Beagle. No, it's Beagle.
You like bagels? Bagels suck, honestly.
I don't really eat bagels.
Yay, now I got the shortcut. So the name is what? Bagel or Beagle, like the dog?
A Beagle, like the dog.
Like, that's their username, you mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, they're not a furry, but people think they are because their name's Beagle?
Well, no, it's because they have like they have an anthro character as like something to represent in like their music and their other things, but they do not classify themselves as
at that
furry.
point, people like that are just closet furries. They just don't want to admit it yet. They're like in the denial stage. That's like stage 1 of
Stage 1.
yeah. Stage 1 is like you know, denial. Stage 2 is acceptance, and stage 3 is just admitting, yeah, I'm a furry. Yeah, I mean, you already know I am. You know, look, so I'm right past stage 3. I've been a furry since I was like a teenager. I turned 30 in March now. It's a long time. Woo. This is a limited time offer. Oh, I don't care. What do you think of my cat persona, Marco? Yeah.
I mean, I think they're pretty cool.
No, I mean like my cat persona, like on stream. Like, what do you think? It's cute.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I need 14 coins. I need to buy a dried shroom in the Dizzy Dial. My streams are rated 18 and up, basically. It's like from, because like if you're new, it says the stream is like mature and you have to click accept and all that.
Yeah.
So you could say, fuck, shit, come. You could say whatever you want. Like I'm already fine with it. I'm just making it known. I don't care. Honestly, just don't say like, wait, well, no, I don't want to buy this. Just don't say things like the gamer word, if you know what I mean. You ever played those you ever played Call of Duty before, like in the past, like on online multiplayer? Arco?
No. Oh yeah. Sorry, I spaced out.
You ever played Call of Duty before? Marco?
I was like spacing out. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds. What's going on?
Because I'm
Hello?
also watching. Yeah.
What are you watching?
Oh, I was watching the stream
Oh, what, you mean mine?
of that and someone else's stream at the same time.
Oh, you have like dual monitors. You have like what? 3 monitors basically? Hmm?
Hmm?
How many monitors you got?
Oh my god. I'm getting like so confused because of like I realized that the person is also talking to me from the stream because they're figuring out who the hell I am.
Oh, what's the stream? Can I check it out?
Yeah, sure.
You could send it to me. It's one of the best tracks in the game.
They're playing
Hmm?
yeah, I was just thinking because this person apparently knows me because I've known them from like a
Oh.
while ago. I just dead ass forgot they existed.
Yeah, I don't know. Meow. Oh, he's playing Mario Kart? Wait, I can play with him. Whoa. He's cute.
Yeah, they're going to the same con as me, and they
Can you
are.
join? Well, you're free
They
to
were
be
guys
in
because
the
they're
chat.
Floridian. That's why.
I'm playing just myself right now. I'm not playing like, and also I'm done after this cup. So, anyway, thanks for coming. And if you'd like to follow, I'd certainly appreciate it. But if not, I'm just a comfort streamer who's a dog. We're all about good vibes here, and I'm just motivational comfort fluff dog. You know? Just trying to help people make your dreams come true. A lot of fun. All right. So let's see. Pizza.
Yo.
Pineapple on pizza time. That's fun. I've never actually tried
Yeah.
pineapple on pizza.
Yo.
It went from like hot to like cold. How did this just happen? Oh shit! I probably should take a shower. It's almost 11, and I gotta wake up at like in 6 hours.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. How long is your flight?
It's like I think it's like a 2-hour flight to DC. Then I have a 2-hour layover, and then I have an 1.5-hour flight to Boston. So it's not too bad. It's just the layover kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Okay. I mean, couldn't you take a car? I forgot how far away. It's not. Like, how long would it take to drive there from Florida? Is it kind of far?
I'm going to Massachusetts, so that's like all the way in like the Northeast. It's right below it's below New Hampshire and Maine, which are the most northern states.
Maine is yeah, the most north and east.
Yeah. It would take over a day to drive. Like if you just did not stop at all, it would take a little bit over a day.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that. I can't do that anyway. I can drive like for probably 8 hours max in one day. What about you?
I mean, well, we did Key West, the Keys, all the way from Florida, all the way to Seattle. That was never again. Like never. I'm never doing that again.
Seattle, Washington, from New York.
Like, oh no, from like the bottom Keys of Florida all the way to Seattle, Washington.
So from Florida to Washington State, you mean?
Yeah, like the bottom of Florida, like the
Wow.
literally the it takes 4 hours just to go from Key West to Miami.
How long did it take you to get to Washington?
Like almost 4 days.
Like, so like each night, did you stop at an inn, basically?
We had to stop. Yeah.
How was the inn? Like, each inn you stayed at, was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I mean, well, it was my father that was the one that was driving. Like I was too tired.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, no, there's no way I could do this when I could barely park the car. Like, I can't even park the car in a parking lot.
Wait, what about the parking lot?
That I have a license, and yet here I am. And because I haven't driven a car in so long that I can't.
Wait. Can you repeat that? You're mumbling a little bit.
That even though I have a license, I can't park a car correctly anymore.
Oh.
Because it's been that
Why?
long since I drove a car.
How long ago has it been?
Almost a year.
I mean, I haven't driven in a year since last Christmas. Not 2025, 2024. And I still remember how to drive.
I got used
like,
to public transit. That's why.
I hate public transit. Absolutely hate it. You know, so and it also like kind of gives me anxiety too, because then you get like whack jobs and shit on there sometimes. It was like, you know, I gotta carry pepper spray and it's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've been on the metro in New York City, New Jersey, and now in Los Angeles, and it's all shit everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go.
I flew to Los Angeles one time.
Mm-hmm. When?
That was like, hang on, that was back in 2022.
Oh, what for?
That was a pit stop because that was the first part of the first flight. The second flight was here all the way to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad because we had like such a little layover in Los Angeles, but we had like a 7-hour delay in Fort Lauderdale, and that was so awful.
4 hours, you said?
No, like 7 hours. 7 hours
Oh.
of delay of like a delay.
Where?
In Fort Lauderdale.
What'd you do?
Yeah, so
like the whole time? What'd you have? Like your cell phone?
Yeah, because we were in the airport. We had to wait there 7 hours. It was.
You better hope you
It
had a
was
good
awful.
charger.
Yeah, I brought a good charger.
You don't want to buy those airport chargers. Those things are shit. They
Those things are awful.
barely charge, and they break easily.
And they cost like a ridiculous amount of money too.
Yeah. You live in Florida, right? I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm moving back east. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
I'm high. Sorry, did I mention that?
I don't think you did.
Sorry if I repeat things or if I forget. I'm drinking soda. You want some?
That would be great if I wasn't like pre-diabetic.
Hmm?
That would be great if I wasn't pre-diabetic.
Mm-hmm. That's like, what does pre-diabetic mean? Like it's prescribed?
No, it's like before diabetes.
So you can still prevent it
Yes, it's the early stages of diabetes. That's
So like, what do
perfect.
you have to do to like make sure you don't get diabetes?
I gotta make sure I don't drink anything that's very sugary and avoid those things. I also got to avoid eating excessive carbs because that's my other issue I have.
What classifies as excessive carbs? I'm eating a meatball sub right now from Firehouse Subs.
Eating sandwiches because they have a lot of bread.
What about what I'm eating right now? Like a meatball sub.
It's a lot of carbs because of the bread. Like I'd have to eat just the meatballs.
Yeah. I'm not eating all the bread though, man. It really depends if it's like not good bread. Want a bite?
That'd be great, yeah. Yeah, I probably should go shower. I should go shower now.
Can you come back after?
Might be going to bed like right after because.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have a flight.
Yeah, I have a flight, so I gotta go to sleep.
Okay. Message me if you remember when you get to well, you go to Georgia, right?
Or well, when I get to DC and then to Boston, yeah.
Wait, you're going to Georgia?
No, I'm going to Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, that's where you live, right? Yeah, I'm going back to Jersey soon.
Nice.
You want to come?
I was originally actually going to visit Jersey like at some point because I have another friend that lives in Jersey.
Oh, before.
Just to hang out with them.
Well,
It was gonna be like a
when I move back, you should come. You can come visit.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What you can do? You take the Amtrak. That's what I did.
That's what I do.
Because I took the Amtrak in 2023 from New Jersey to Washington, D.C. for Otakon. Yeah, Otakon, it was like the anime convention.
Oh, I see.
It was like 3 hours on the Amtrak, but it's not that bad. Actually, it was it's kind of fun. And then they have like a little kitchen. You get a cheeseburger. They cook you $10, but $10 for a cheeseburger.
I gotta go shower though, so I'm gonna go for now.
Yeah. Talk soon. Have a safe flight.
Thank you.
Message me when you're there.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send me a picture. Yeah.
I will.
Do you have the aisle seat, by the way? Do you know?
Yeah, I have a window seat.
Oh, the window seat.
Oh, no, not, I have a window seat instead of the aisle because
take
like the window.
pictures. Take pictures, and then send them.
I will.
Or take video too,
Alright.
actually.
All right.
Yeah, with the
Alright,
clouds
see
and
ya.
stuff. I want to eat a cloud. I wonder if they taste good.
All right. See ya.
Is anyone here in the stream? Oh, still? I don't know. I'm done now.
learn from the best, Dad.
I did get the shit kicked out of me though, and I think like 3 of my ribs are broken.
Huh? I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Oh, what was she? What were they doing?
Over the hedge. Over the hedge. I'm watching YouTube here. Let's turn this on.
The world of Barnyard is something that completely passed me by, despite the fact that I was the perfect age for the film when it came out back in mid-2006. I was 10 years old and obsessed with cartoons at the time, but for some reason Barnyard was never really on my radar. Maybe it's because 2 years earlier Disney released Home on the Range, which had a similar premise at a glance, and was a movie that I hated. Whatever the reason, the film passed me by and was slammed by critics who described it as unimaginative and unfunny. Yet it clearly found an audience, as it would make $116.5 million worldwide against a budget of $51 million, making it the 4th highest grossing Nickelodeon movie at the time of release. That success spawned a spin-off series titled Back at the Barnyard, which ran for 2 seasons before getting canned. Something I was excited to see as a kid because I hated that show. It did manage to receive a tie-in game on the DS before its death though. In more recent years, we've seen the Shrekification of the Barnyard franchise, where seemingly everything about it has been memed to death. And as part of that Shrekification, some spotlight has been shined on the 2 tie-in games that the Barnyard film received. I'm Brandon, and I'll be your captain for this journey through Nickelodeon video game history. Released on August 1, 2006, 3 days before the film hit theaters, Barnyard was released for the GameCube, PS2, and GBA. Later that year, it would also receive a Wii version to coincide with the November launch of that console in North America. Just imagine, while most people were playing Wii Sports, some poor sap was probably playing Barnyard on their brand new Wii. All of the home console versions were developed by Blue Tongue.
Why was it not on Xbox 360 or PS3?
Unite, and a little bit later on in 2006, they'd put out the sequel, Battle for Volcano Island. In 2007, they once again returned to the Nicktoons franchise for Attack of the Toybots, and they also put out the forgotten El Tigre game, which brought an end to their Nickelodeon collaborations. From what we know, the development of Barnyard on home consoles seems to have been pretty turbulent. The first glimpse of the game shown to press was quite different to what you can actually go and play today. Unseen64 has a great article about this that I really recommend you go check out. To paraphrase it, they basically came to the conclusion that Barnyard was developed based on the bones of a cancelled and unannounced title, which appeared to have some pretty intricate NPC and AI mechanics. These ideas were playable in the beta versions of this game, but by the time it was released, they'd been majorly scaled back. As for the GBA version, that was developed by Halfbrick. Their debut game as a studio was Rocket Power Beach Bandits on the GBA, with Barnyard being their follow-up game they partnered with Nick for. In between those 2 titles, they worked on a couple of GBA ports of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. Eventually, they'd work pretty heavily on the Avatar series in the handheld space, and they'd take a crack at Nicktoons with Attack of the Toybots on GBA. The reviews for this version were far from kind though, slumping to a 5.6 average score on Metacritic. The home console versions, while not anything amazing, did a little bit better, falling between a 6.2 and a 6.6, depending on the version you look at. It actually received some decent scores from both IGN and GameSpot, so maybe there's hope for Barnyard to win me over. Let's pop these games in and head on down to the farm to see what it's all about. Are you sick of having your identity stolen while traveling through hyperspace? Well, say goodbye to that thanks to the sponsor of...
I'm watching like the most random stuff. What is this?
The GBA is somehow both enthralling and utterly boring. You'll constantly be going back and forth between being bored out of your mind and then absolutely flabbergasted at the next ridiculous thing you're witnessing on screen. Interestingly, Barnyard on the GBA sort of follows the plot of the movie, but from a different perspective. You arrive at the titular barnyard as the new cow on the block. You get to choose which cow you want to be, so obviously I chose this absolute unit, and then you start a sort of orientation on the farm. Because there isn't exactly a lot going on with the plot of the film, the developers had to do everything they could to pad this game out, so it wasn't 30 minutes long. The first kind of gameplay you experience here is what I've dubbed the exploration gameplay. It's a kind of way of describing what is basically fetch quests. As you walk around the farm, you'll chat to the residents and initiate missions, which you're given barnyard bucks for completing. A lot of these missions are actually time sensitive, which plays into the game's day-night cycle. Once it hits night, you actually have the option of going to bed to advance time to the next day. A pretty handy option so you're not stuck just killing time until your missions become available again. Or rather, it would be handy if the time in this game didn't tick by ridiculously fast. Actually, advancing time is pretty irrelevant, and it's made even more irrelevant when you discover that the game forces you to sleep once it hits 2 AM. I thought the cows in this film were supposed to be all about partying, but the best part of the game forcing you to sleep is that hitting the 2 AM limit makes your character just drop to the ground and sleep wherever you are. I know they're wild animals and this actually makes sense, but seeing your character do this will never not be hilarious. Your cow gets a whole 3 hours of sleep and is transported back to the barn when this happens, which can actually be a bit of a pain in the ass depending on where you were and what you were doing. As you explore the farm, you'll notice plenty of fruit you can pick up. These always help with either your health, stamina so you can run for longer, or your milk. Yes, your milk. The devs really took the idea of being a cow to heart.
Wanna get a ferret.
Should you actually get a ferret as a pet? They're pretty cute and playful, but here's actually what it would take to own one. Ferrets are part of the weasel family, which means they're energetic, sneaky, and built to explore tight spaces. So if you bring one home, be ready for them to squeeze behind furniture, dig through your laundry, or steal your socks for fun. They also need a lot of out-of-cage time, at least 3 to 4 hours a day, and without it, they get bored fast, which can lead to biting, chewing wires, or escaping. And while they bond deeply with their owners, ferrets aren't like cats or dogs. They don't respond to commands easily and require patience to litter, train, or teach boundaries. Plus, they also have a natural musky smell even when descented and need regular vet checkups, vaccines, and a specialized diet that's high in meat protein. But maybe more importantly, some cities or states even ban ferrets altogether.
Hello? Sparky?
Hi.
You need to restart the game, otherwise she'll be stuck doing this forever. Even if you unplug your controller, try to use the keyboard, you can't even pause the game, nothing works. All control is lost. This happens after about 10 minutes, and I think a lot of people who see this would immediately request a refund, knowing what lies ahead is not for the faint of heart. But if you do happen to be that big of a Skull Island fan, restarting your game, preparing yourself for action once more, viewing your emotional moment of seeing Papa Kong get his shit rocked, you go against Gaw in a battle you're scripted to lose, Mama Kong gets dunked on, Baby Kong gets away, grows up to become a big boy, where you inevitably reach the ultimate experience that, let's be serious for a second, doesn't need to have its enthralling gameplay broken down. Rise of Kong is a title that has been torn apart. Video after video was made about it in 2023, calling it the worst game of that year, and yeah, that's a very hard statement to disagree with. Skull Island follows the blueprint of practically every other game we've talked about, making me believe Game Mill has a pre-written outline for how they want their games to be made. You're given 5 whole Mozart paragons for Monkey Man to scrape his paws through. You got a few creatures to tussle with if you so choose. And from time to time, you'll run into a clear objective, having you dish out some serious bloodshed against the local wildlife. This is one of the 2 total objectives you can waltz into, by the way. The other is called Destroy, where you need to press the power attack button on a bundle of sticks. Upon finishing either one of those nail-biting challenges, you get a few skill points to use on this unbelievably in-depth tree that is depressingly the most engaging thing out of any game we've talked about so far. There's probably 2 to 3 of those previously mentioned challenges spread throughout each area. At the end of those said areas, you get into a boss fight. The first is Earth Giza, or translated to English, melatonin toxin, because it takes like 400 hits to kill this thing, with all of its moves being toddler Fisher-Price toy levels of telegraph. Then you get others like King Dengiz, that is the most uneventful slog of a scuffle anyone could ever do. You literally don't even need to move to win. You can just stand there, embodying Pablo Sanchez, hurling rocks at the big dog. When he throws rocks at you, press your dodge button, then drink through the fountain of Pablo once more. This was a game sold for money. Skull Island, or as the streets call it, Monkey.exe, that was actually changed, by the way. It's Kong.exe now. Still has the default Unreal Engine icon, though. This is one of the most self-explanatory missions one could go through. Whether you're experiencing it visually or experiencing it yourself, there's nothing fun about this game. Not a single inkling of combat is going to have you feel like one of the
Weird name, but okay.
Spyro is one of those things that try as I might, I can never quit. It was my favorite.
Well, I'm going to the kitchen. I was just getting socks and stuff. I got the last can of Mountain Dew I have here. It's my headphones. Yeah. I'm here now. Anyone know?
Childhood franchise. I've always had a fascination with dragons, and so when my parents bought us a stack of PlayStation games back in the day, the first game that stuck out to me was Spyro the Dragon. I was 6 goddamn years old. If you want my opinions on the original trilogy, you can watch this video, but as with most platformer franchises, late 90s success led to early 2000s stagnation. As the industry moved further and further away from what made the 90s platformer boom viable, many of these franchises were left to twist in the wind. Spyro is no different, and after half a decade of mediocrity, diminishing returns, and attempting and failing to recapture the lightning, the final straw was Shadow Legacy, a weird isometric RPG thing on the DS that sold like absolute ass. Whether that was the intended final installment in the original series or not, it probably should have been. So the series got the boot. The reboot. They decided to take this light, upbeat platformer franchise and turn it into a dark, gritty action platformer franchise to make this series more in line with the rest of the industry at the time. This series of games has eternally fascinated me. It feels so out of left.
I'm very interested in this video because I grew up playing these games when I was like 10 years old, like and stuff like that. But like early teenager years, like 13, 14, and all that.
Two franchises as being
You know,
technically the same
a long time ago.
And my history with this trilogy goes way the fuck back. I remember seeing the commercials for A New Beginning back in the day, and I was horribly confused and betrayed because I didn't like change.
It's time to unleash the true dragon within you.
And more
I should
than
stream
anything,
these.
That's what these commercials promised, but those sentiments were me as a child before I understood the concept of a reboot. Then again, those old trailers for A New Beginning kind of muddied the issue because I don't think they wanted to come out and say that it was a reboot, and so made the trailers as vague as possible in that regard. Possibly to make fans think that it was a continuation. The fact that it was called A New Beginning also didn't help. Even still, that sentiment of betrayal continued through the rest of my childhood and through most of my teenage years. I mentioned before that I took the Spyro series way too fucking seriously for way too long. But when I was in my late teenage years, I visited/revisited this series and managed to find enjoyment in them. In fact, let's not beat around the bush, I covered these games on my old channel 10 years ago. I was 18, and that revelation hit me like a freight train. So it's been a decade since I last thought about these games, despite the fact
I have videos of these on my old YouTube channel too.
Talk about, even if only in a cosmic sort of way. I remember back when I grew an appreciation for these games, I completely went in the other direction. I kind of got defensive about the harsh criticism that some people had for it, because a lot of it did boil down to it's not like the old games. And I got righteously indignant for people judging these games based on what they weren't rather than what they were. And while I still kind of agree with that sentiment, I think it's kind of immature to completely dismiss that whole idea because this is jarring. You do have to mentally reconcile a lot of weirdness to be able to view these games in any sort of objective light. I mean, taking a traditionally kiddie platformer and changing it into a gritty action series, that could not be more absurd if you are at all familiar with these games. Like this character?
I just felt like I had to hit it. And when I did, the power of 1,000 suns surged through my body.
Is the rebooted version of this character.
You gotta believe!
That is a mindfuck if there ever was. So while I don't necessarily agree with judging these games based on things that don't apply to them, I can understand why someone might come to that conclusion. It's not like the old games, and I don't like that isn't necessarily a fair objective criticism, but as a personal opinion, it's totally fine. Hell, if you're like me, you probably bought one of these games just off the back of being a fan of the series, and then felt completely shell-shocked at what was going on. If that's the case, then of course you're understandably going to be resentful of the fact that you paid for one thing and got another thing. Hence why I was so resentful for so long, not helped by the fact that I had a staunch hatred of how grimdark the entire gaming industry was getting back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. But that was just because I was holding on to my childhood for too long. But now that enough space has passed, I feel like it's totally within reason to be able to judge these games based entirely on what they do and not what they don't do. Because, let's be honest, enough time has passed that nobody's going to be playing these games thinking it's one thing only to get another thing. And if you do, that's entirely on you for not being able to use Google. Plus, because these games never got a continuation or a reboot or anything, that gives them the privilege of being able to exist in a bubble. So let's jump in. Now, when it's said that this is basically a Lord of the Rings ripoff, I think that's an exaggeration in a lot of ways, even though most people will say it, including, you know, me. It's just an easy identifier of tone. However, the stories are quite different. Instead of being a small group of lowly insurgents trying to trek across a hostile wasteland to dispose of a magical artifact while bigger and tougher characters fight the forces of evil elsewhere, this is instead a story chronicling a hero of humble origins being sent away for his own safety, only to discover that his role in the universe is much more grand than he could have ever understood. Then there's the plot line about how the big bad was powerful beyond anything anyone had ever seen, so was nurtured and trained to bring out his fullest potential, but then was corrupted by his own power, leading him to being exiled, and then he either died or was imprisoned, I'm not entirely sure which. And so the main plot is largely based around trying to prevent that villain from being resurrected, only to fail. And then you have to face the forces of evil, and then eventually the big bad himself. There's also a connection between the main villain and the main character, in this case the fact that they're both purple dragons, which are destined to be the most powerful and destructive dragons out there. Yeah, when you really examine the bits and pieces, even with Elijah Wood voicing the main character, it's definitely not Lord of the Rings. The way it's structured is like a combination of Kung Fu Panda, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Moses. But even that doesn't necessarily do it justice. Perhaps I'm missing something, but I don't think this story blanketly rips off anything so much as it's just a standard 3-part story that takes bits and pieces from various well-known stories. I think the reason why people land on Lord of the Rings is, aside from starring Elijah Wood, it's the general tone. It has the same epic fantasy feel that is synonymous with Lord of the Rings, and I feel like the way a story feels can identify more than simply looking at the story structure. And this definitely has that particular feel, just with dragons in place of various other fantasy creatures. But on that note, A New Beginning, as well as the sequel, were not made by a team of fantasy creatures, but rather by Chrome Studios. That was a terrible transition. Chrome was an Australian game developer that managed to be both insubstantial and prolific. They made one of the versions in game rather. On that note, A New Beginning, just as well as the sequel, were not made by a team of fantasy creatures, but rather by Chrome Studios. Insubstantial, a big deal for its day, and they also made Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, something like a C-tier platformer franchise that still has a dedicated audience to this day. I tried playing the first game one time. It was one of the most painfully dull games I've ever experienced, and I will not apologize for that opinion. So it's one of those cases where you're not quite sure what to expect when you pop this game in, because the developer has somewhat of a mixed bag catalog, which is fitting because this game is a bit of a mixed bag overall. When it comes to Spyro: A New Beginning, I used to think it was good but insubstantial, and it certainly is insubstantial, but after however many years, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's good. The story, for example, is as by the numbers as it gets. In fact, the story felt so familiar, I decided to take this opportunity to do a bit of research on the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a common structuring of stories told, encapsulating 12 specific story beats that takes place in said story structure. The only ones it doesn't have is, first of all, arguably the ordinary world, because in many interpretations that requires the hero...
Wait, I want to see that. Call Adventure. Why is 3 crossed out?
Arguably the ordinary world, because in many interpretations that requires the hero to be unhappy with their current situation. And Spyro is perfectly content at the beginning of the game. It's only through extenuating circumstances that he has to leave his life behind. And the other one is the refusal of the call, because once Spyro finds out the truth about who he is, he immediately goes on an adventure of self-discovery without hesitation. But otherwise, the other 10, possibly 11 steps can easily apply, showing this game has a very standard story. But what is the story? Well, it begins with the eventual mentor character Ignitus saving a specific dragon egg while the Dragon Temple was under siege by the forces working for a mysterious figure simply known at this point as the Dark Master. The egg in question is the egg of a purple dragon, which is said to only be born once every 10 generations. They'll go back and forth on this fact as the series goes along, but never mind. Ignitus decides to send it down the river for its own safety, and the egg is discovered by a small family of dragonflies, coincidentally the same day that their own child Sparks was born. So this family of dragonflies takes this hatchling as their own and name it Spyro. In the intervening years between that event and the start of the game proper, the forces of evil under the leadership of a dragon named Cinder, the underboss of the main villain, have taken over the lands. One day, while playing around in the forest where they live, Spyro and Sparks stumble across Cinder's forces, and in a moment of existential danger for Sparks, Spyro throws flame for the first time. From that, he learns that he's not actually a dragonfly.
No shit, Sherlock.
So he must go on a journey to discover his true self. Sparks eventually tags along on the encouragement of his dad, and with that, we never see the dragonfly parents again. Like, they're just completely forgotten about. It's kind of funny, actually. Spyro stumbles upon Ignitus, the elder dragon of flame, who's an unwilling mentor at first because he believes all is lost. Although I think he's just lazy, he keeps getting Spyro to do things even though he blatantly could do some of these things on his own. But it's actually Spyro's eagerness that brings him back to reality, especially once Spyro sees the destruction that Cinder has wrought. Although viewing this in HD, I actually don't know what I'm looking at. Either way, Cinder is attempting to free her boss, the Dark Master. Incidentally, that's not actually his name, that's just his title. And to do that, she needs to siphon the magical energy of all 4 of the elemental guardian dragons, and currently she's captured 3 of the 4. So you need to go to various locations to rescue the elder dragons, but of course, while you succeed in rescuing the elders, you don't succeed in stopping their magic from being siphoned. However, since Cinder needs the magical power of all 4 elder dragons, they need to contrive a reason for Ignitus to get captured. Basically, Ignitus leaps into action to save Spyro from Cinder, which results in his capture. Yeah, that was really stupid considering he basically just handed Cinder a potential victory, especially since you had already rescued 2 of the elder dragons by that point. Ignitus could have just sent them, because since Cinder already got their power, they wouldn't be risking anything. How they should have written it was that Ignitus sends the other 2 elder dragons, which forces Cinder to strategically withdraw. Then they make it back to the Dragon Temple, only to find that it was all part of Cinder's plan, and she wanted Ignitus to send the other 2 dragons to save Spyro in order to leave Ignitus alone and unprotected at the temple. That way she could swoop in and capture him unabated. Bada bing bada boom, plot hole filled. Either way, once Ignitus is captured, then you need to go directly to Cinder's fortress to rescue him, but once again you fail to prevent the magic from being siphoned, and you have to go to the world between worlds called Convexity to prevent the Dark Master from escaping his prison. And just when all hope seems lost, you manage to pull a new power out of your ass and escape with your life just in the nick of time. That's the whole plot from a functional perspective. Could it be more by the numbers? It's a well-presented plot, don't get me wrong. The script is pretty good, and the voice acting is surprisingly excellent as well, with several notable career voice actors, such as Cree Summer as Cinder.
If only it were that easy, little one. Time you learned how complicated life can be.
Kevin Michael Richardson and his absolutely sumptuous voice as Terrador.
And you're not ready to face Cinder yet. Time to fight will come, but it is not now.
And Corey Burton as Voltaire.
It borders on the miraculous, incredible, stupendous. A dragon your size defeating that thing.
Even Phil Lamar is here as Kane.
Only until I kick these bums out. Which reminds me, I can't stand here chatting with purple dragons and mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's one of 2 subplots in the game. In that case, you have to save a village of goat-like creatures, which earns you the respect of the village elder, who stubbornly insists that he doesn't need your help until you save the day. The other subplot is in the volcano level, where you have to rescue this race of mole people who each talk in outrageous French accents for some reason.
I wondered that too.
Since I'm part Quebecois, aka fake French, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be offended. That plot point kind of peters out because once you rescue them, there's no story arc, you just save them and then they direct you to where you need to go. Now it's funny because while this series has a bit of a reputation for being a bit too Hollywood, this particular entry doesn't really have much of that. You have the aforementioned Elijah Wood as Spyro, only a couple years after Lord of the Rings.
Not exactly a friendly place, huh? Wonder where we should start.
As well as Gary Oldman of all people as Ignitus.
I'm afraid it's not that easy, Sparks. It takes time, reflection, and patience.
They hold their own relatively well. I mean, Gary Oldman gives a good performance no matter what. Dude's a legend. As for Elijah Wood, he definitely has the weakest performance out of everyone. He seems a bit monotone, but not bad. He could have just been better. The only other primarily live-action actor voicing a character is David Spade as Sparks. And oh sweet Jesus, he is awful.
What am I thinking now? Okay, now.
Now, let me be clear, I don't even blame David Spade in this case because I actually think David Spade is a bit underrated. I know he gets lumped in with the Adam Sandler crew, but I think he's probably the most comedically talented out of all of them when he's
I guess.
animated. I grew up with this show called 8 Simple Rules where he played the cousin character, and in all honesty, I think he was pretty good in that show. Plus, he also played Cusco in The Emperor's New Groove, and that movie is absolutely fantastic. But they seemingly forgot the comedic part of comedic relief, and so his entire role is to make really annoying observations at every opportunity, and it's almost never not the most ear-splittingly unfunny lines you could possibly imagine. Surprisingly though, Sparks isn't nearly as bad as he's gonna get in this game.
Yeah,
that can be
yellow.
saved for
Yellow.
the next game, because there are a few individual instances where Sparks does say something mildly amusing.
Wonder where we should start.
Well, I'm no hero like you, but maybe we should take that clearly marked path that leads to the interior.
A lot of what he says is blatantly anachronistic, which makes it seem as though he exists beyond the fourth wall, but not in the Deadpool sort of way, more in a lazy writing sort of way.
Venture to the darkest pits of Boisetbig and find Terrador.
Then, it's off to karaoke.
Also, he
What?
makes a lot of fat jokes. Like, I think the total number of fat jokes in reference to Spyro being a lot bigger than him is probably in the 3rd digit. I'm fine with fat jokes, I just don't like repetitive humor. Take your favorite Yo Mama So Fat joke and imagine that joke being repeated 112 times over the space of 6 hours, and you have Sparks' dialogue. Now, despite being a standard sort of story, this game also has a few relatively interesting plot beats, like how Cinder isn't actually as old as she appears. She was actually part of the same brood of eggs as Spyro, but she was corrupted by the magic of the Dark Master. You see, it's said that the Dark Master can only be broken free from his prison by a dragon born in the Year of the Dragon. And I'm assuming, unlike the game Year of the Dragon, they're not referring to the Year of the Chinese Zodiac. Either way, this results in all the different eggs being smashed except for Cinder's egg. While it's not stated, these guys basically just killed a bunch of unborn children. Wow, dead babies. That is a topic I did not know was going to be brought up in this video. This basically means that they are the only 2 surviving members of their specific batch of eggs, their entire generation. Although, once again, I don't see any female dragons. Either way, it means their connection is established from a very early point. Spyro sees something in her eyes that seems familiar, which establishes a connection between the 2 of them that Spyro notices from their first actual face-to-face encounter. The fact that they are so connected was only ever going to mean one of 2 things: either they're siblings or they will eventually become star-crossed lovers. In this case, they chose the latter. So that's the most interesting aspect of the plot, but then the worst part of the plot for me is that the Dragon Elders are full of shit. So get this, Cinder capturing Ignitus is an existential threat to the world itself, because if she takes his power and opens the portal, the world is basically doomed, but then the 3 remaining Dragon Elders don't lift a finger to help you. Matter of fact, they hand-wave that away pretty horribly.
Every generation must pass the torch to the next, Terrador. Our time is done.
Yes, it is Spyro's time to shine. Now go to it, young dragon.
It's a matter of saving the world. The Dragon Elders should be fighting to help you even if it kills them. Not being able to fight or passing the torch to the next generation is not a good excuse. It's their job to be protecting the world. They should be protecting the world. Besides, they ostensibly help out later in the series, and so they should have just thrown that plotline away and had it so the Dragon Elders went in and directly assaulted Cinder's fortress from the front, while Spyro sneaks in another way while the bulk of the army is distracted. That way they're doing something, but also they don't need to be present and accounted for. So ultimately, while the story is completely standard, it has a few interesting bits and a few frustrating bits, ultimately putting it right down the middle of the road. Almost frustratingly so. It actually made me realize that I would prefer a story that tries to go outside of the box but ultimately fails over a story that has nothing particularly wrong with it, but also doesn't take any risks whatsoever. And the same can be said for the gameplay as well. This is about as bog standard as action platformers get. It's almost to the point that if you were to tell an AI to design a game, it would probably do something along these lines. Basically, you have to fight through a long succession of linear levels using melee and breath attacks. The melee is certainly well presented in that it has a lot of crunchy sound effects and visual flair, which makes the blows land with a satisfying thud. And I appreciate that unlike a lot of beat-em-ups that give each variety of enemy a single name, this game actually has a list of various pieces of names and will randomly generate a unique name for every enemy. Though this does lead to some hilarious results, such as this, or who could forget this? But the combat is let down by the fact that there's only one combo. Well, technically there's two combos. You have one where you press the circle button 4 times on the ground, then you have another combo where you do the same thing but in the air, and you have a few other minor things such as the ability to knock people out of the air by using the charge button mid-combo, but it is somewhat contextual. So I don't know, the melee is good for what it is, it's just really repetitive. The most variance you're gonna get is in the breath attacks because you have 2 separate attacks for every element. One run-of-the-mill breath attack and a specialized attack depending on the element. You start off early in the game with only fire breath, but throughout the game you gradually acquire lightning breath, ice breath, and earth breath. The circumstances by which you get these powers are kind of funny though. It comes across like they were trying to decide how to introduce these new powers during a long, boring brainstorming meeting and ended up picking the dumbest explanation. For lightning breath and earth breath, you're just exposed to copious amounts of that element. I.e., you acquire electric breath by getting shocked by electricity, and you acquire earth breath by being buried alive. Which is fair enough, but it's always made me wonder if Spyro could acquire different elemental powers by being exposed to random things. Like, if he was buried in a mountain of Doritos, would he acquire the power of Cool Ranch? The most ridiculous one is Ice Breath, though, because in that case, he's not even exposed to the element, he just randomly pulls it out of his ass when he needs to save Kane from falling off a cliff. Which is also what happened with Sparks and Fire Breath, but at least Fire Breath is universally considered a dragon's standard breath attack. But either way, the gradual drip feeding of different elemental breaths gives the gameplay a little bit of variety as it goes along, and I would say mixing and matching the breath attacks into your combos is as good of a unique selling point as any, because simply doing melee attacks is rarely a viable strategy. Even the small enemies can be a threat to you, especially if you have multiple of them swarming you at once, because you don't have any invincibility frames, so a group of small enemies attacking you at once can drain your health like that. The breath attacks give you an edge in that case, being able to stun, launch, or otherwise incapacitate the enemies. So the incentivizing of the breath attacks is something that the game does really well, and it helps to give this game a bit of a unique flavor if nothing else. It's just the problem is the combat isn't nearly varied enough, but it's pretty much all you have. You have a few minor puzzle elements, but nothing more complicated than press switch to open door. You have a few minor platforming elements, but very rarely is it a very complicated sequence. I would say until the very end of the game, when you actually have a pretty difficult platforming sequence, a lot of it is as basic as it gets. You also have these on-rails sections which show up all of twice in the game. The second one isn't even all that interesting because in that case, you're flying around a level you were just in, so you don't even get to see new scenery. I wouldn't have minded these sections connecting every level, seeing as the way you suddenly find yourself wherever you need to be after a loading screen is a bit jarring. But I guess they didn't have time to properly make those, because in these sequences you have to travel long distances, so they didn't have time to create a long sequence of assets for you to fly through, because the faster you go, the less mileage you can get out of any given sequence of assets. So they only did this once to connect levels. The only other unique sequence I can think of after that is where you fight this train literally on rails. And while that sequence is metal as it kind of just exists in a vacuum, and the actual boss fight with the train isn't until a bit later into the level. So yeah, 90 to 95% of the game is combat, which makes it get pretty old pretty quick. And these levels are pretty relentlessly padded out, like how when you first meet Ignitus, it's something like a 20-minute sequence just to get through like 3 rooms. And then there's this section at the end of the second level. I have to pay my respects to this one because this one goes on just shy of forever. To the point where I actually thought my game was glitching out because it just wouldn't end. No joke, it's one section of combat that goes on for like 10 to 15 minutes. And despite only being 6 hours long, this game actually only has 5 levels. The opening level in the forest, the level where you rescue Voltaire, Dante's freezer. I see what you did there. The level where you rescue Cyril, Tall Plains, which is the most old school
Like Dante's Inferno.
looking level in the game. The level where you rescue which is the most old school Spyro-esque looking level in the game. The level where you rescue Terrador, Munitions Forge, and finally Cinder's Fortress. I don't count the final boss area as a main level. Either way, you have 5 main levels, and the game is about 6 hours long, so do the math. Each level is a relentlessly padded sequence of samey fights. With that said, however, there are ways to cheese this game. When you first get Electric Breath, you'll notice that you can knock enemies around if you move the analog stick left or right while shocking an enemy. Well, it occurred to me sometime through the game, you can just use Electric Breath to toss enemies into pools of lava or off cliffs. That's insanely overpowered, but then came Earth Breath. Let me be clear, there was a time when I thought that Earth Breath was useless in this game because it's a bit awkward to use the first time. Essentially, what the standard attack is a short-ranged shotgun blast. But even that's not what I would consider the game-breaking attack. The game-breaking part for me is the secondary attack, which is this tornado that lifts enemies into the air. If you fully upgrade that, you can lift an entire battalion of enemies into the air where they are completely helpless. Aside from doing a good chunk of damage in itself, you can also attack them while they're in the air, which is basically guaranteed to kill most enemies in one go. And while it does use a fair amount of magic power, every enemy drops so much magic power that you're basically never running low. Yeah, this is one of those token inclusions to make it seem more like the Spyro games of old. Enemies and random gem deposits will drop various gems that will fill your health, magic experience for upgrading your attacks, or Fury attack bar. Your Fury attack being this final f*** you attack that you can only do once you fill the meter, but it takes so long to fill and it's so powerful, it's one of those things you'll inevitably hoard due to the supply and demand principle. But either way, I almost never ran out of magic power, and even if you do run low, it won't be long before another enemy dies. So basically, if you are near anything that will instantly kill an enemy, you use the lightning attack and throw them off, or in, as the case may be. And if not, you just toss a tornado on the ground and let that sort the enemies out. I've seen middle-aged hookers who weren't this cheap. Even while this doesn't work on bosses, the standard Earth Breath attack from close range can drain an entire health bar without even draining your entire magic bar. So while the standard Earth Breath is useful but not broken with the regular enemies against bosses, it's a game changer. Not that the bosses are anything worth remarking on to begin with. They're mostly just standard enemies with bigger health bars, outside of first of all the train, which is a unique enemy for the fact that it's an enemy on rails and you have to wait for it to ram into something for efficient damage, but it's limited by its mobility. And also Cinder, who actually has a few unique attacks. Probably the best part of the game by default, aside from feeling like a big deal, the way she switches between aerial bombardment and close-ranged melee, even with Earth Breath, makes this the most compellingly challenging fight in the game, even if that's not saying much. So the combat is repetitive and easily cheesed, and that's pretty much the sum of the whole experience. Is there anything that makes this game worthwhile? Well, it's very pretty for its time, lots of vibrant colors as well as well-textured and modeled locations and character models. I especially like how foreboding the final level is, while still managing to be very vibrant and colorful. Although the game's facial animations are a bit weird, Spyro in particular has a nasty habit of making really dumb faces. Like this, or this, or this. Fiddle-dee-dee. Probably because they had a hard time making him emote and making it look natural because he's not human, so it just looks goofy a lot of the time. Also, sometimes cutscenes are in-engine, sometimes they're modeled in-engine but are pre-rendered, and sometimes they have these higher quality cutscenes and these ones just look straight up off-putting. It's hard to describe, but it kinda looks like a pre-rendered cutscene from a 90s FMV game. Like if you've ever played that game Chronicles of the Sword, one of the worst games ever made, it kinda reminds me of that, just glossy and unnatural. It's one of those rare cases where I actually think the in-game graphics are better because at least in that case it looks good for its time but still crude enough to maintain an appealing art style. Other than that though, this game is serviceable but completely unremarkable. A certified C-tier game, maybe even a D-tier game, because by my metrics, a D-tier game can be both a heavily flawed game that barely passes the threshold of being decent or almost decent, or it's a game that's so utterly mediocre that the mediocrity becomes a flaw in itself. I guess it felt way too safe, and had it taken more risks and expanded upon some of its gameplay ideas instead of giving you one single combo that you repeat ad nauseum, it might have fared better. It might have also fared better by giving you anything beyond the strictly necessary content. Aside from not really having much to offer beyond the combat, this game also has no replay value because it's as bare bones as it could possibly get. There's no extra modes, no collectibles, no power-ups, nothing but the strictly necessary content, leaving this game as a pure one and done, if that. It's the embodiment of mediocrity with some unnecessarily good writing. Ultimately, The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning is playable, and that's the nicest thing I can say about it. The most interesting part to me would be the tease for the next game.
See anything, Spyro?
No. But I've got a bad feeling.
Me too.
And that next game would be The Legend of Spyro: The Eternal Night. So here's something funny that happened. Well, it's funny in retrospect, but it wasn't funny during the fact. I had to play The Eternal Night twice. Why? Well, because the game crashed at one point, which made the settings reset when I restarted the game. One of those settings is widescreen. Now, in fairness, the game doesn't look that different when you stretch 4:3 to widescreen except for the UI, but I found this out about halfway through my playthrough, about 2 hours after the crash occurred. At that point I decided, it's not so bad, and kept rolling all the way up to the penultimate level. Only to then come back and realize, no, I can't bring myself to do this. I have to replay the entire length of the game that was incorrectly recorded. Although during the second playthrough, I came to a sudden realization. I actually kinda like this game. You see, this is the most surprising part to me, because this is the game I've always considered the worst in the trilogy by
This game is my childhood. I played it when I was like 10, like on the Wii.
significant margin, but after coming back to it twice, I actually think my issues become less and less noticeable. The one thing I always have,
Well, I mean, they all are, but mainly the Eternal Night.
always give this game credit for over A New Beginning, is that it has a much less standard story, with a much less standard progression compared to the generic hero's journey story of the first game. And I feel it had a lot more emotional
And
lessons.
Dawn the
I
Dragon,
stumbled across when doing research about
I
this
think.
game, by which I mean by looking up the composer's IMDb page, was I found there was actually a 3-part miniseries about this game. So I decided to look it up in case there was any vital story in those shorts, and from what I can tell, it's an animated 3-part prequel to the game. It's a bit incongruous because before it was established that the battle with Cinder drained Spyro to such an extent that he lost his powers, and he didn't get them back until the Eternal Night, but in this case he gets them back between games. Though the battles in Part 2 and 3 probably re-drained him, kinda like how if you break a bone it's easier to re-break immediately after it heals. It also shows that the Dragon Temple was attacked between games, but also there's no reason to suspect that there couldn't have been an attack before the main attack in the main game. I think the best part of these shorts is probably Part 1, when Spyro and Cinder are sneaking into the Dragon training room to get a workout in.
Relax, Spyro. It'll be fun. All you have to do is stand outside the circle, and whatever you think of appears inside the circle. Try it.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
While it's only a minute or two, it's kinda cute, and I can kinda see that if the established time gap between the first and second game was a few weeks, I can see that if this is how they were interacting for those few weeks, how they could have gained a mutual affection for each other. In fact, the whole idea of the training room is that whatever you choose to train against comes directly from your imagination, and Cinder accidentally summons an ethereal version of the main villain of the Eternal Night, which might go a ways to explain her mentality at the beginning of the Eternal Night, but otherwise there's nothing vital in these shorts. After Part 1 it's mostly just a battle at the temple, and then a battle out in the forest. But as for the Eternal Night proper, like I said, we open up several weeks after the ending of A New Beginning. Spyro is having recurring nightmares about the Dark Master, as well as visions of some random tree. But upon waking, he finds that Cinder, who's been staying at the Dragon Temple, has decided to leave and go her own way. Crushed by the guilt of everything she's done, she decides she doesn't belong there, and decides that wherever she belongs is somewhere out there in the world.
Every day that goes by, I'm reminded of it. Spyro, your place is here. Your destiny is here. But mine is somewhere out there
Try as Spyro might, he can't stop her, though he would have fared better if he didn't immediately pass out. Shortly after she leaves, though, the Dark Master's forces invade the temple looking for Cinder. But of course, she's already gone. Once that's all sorted out, the plot gets a bit complicated with multiple interweaving points that all branch out and converge at the Mountain of Malifor in the final boss. There's a lot to unpack with that sentence. Malifor is the dragon who up until now has been simply referred to as the Dark Master. This game is where we get a bigger insight into his history. We see that he was powerful, but was eventually exiled by his own mentors because his powers were corrupting him and he became evil. The Mountain of Malifor became his base of operation, and apparently he was so powerful that he created a rift in the very fabric of reality itself, which was dubbed the Well of Souls. Which is a MacGuffin name
spooky.
that appears in several fantasy stories I've seen. In this case, it's a place where the world of the living and the dead converge, and it's said that unruly souls go there after they die. And after his death, Malifor ended up inhabiting the Well of Souls himself. However, what's referred to in the game as the Night of Eternal Darkness, not the Eternal Night just to confuse matters, is drawing near. A night where a celestial eclipse takes place and allows the dead among the Well of Souls to roam freely, if only for a short while. However, Malifor is no regular mortal soul. He is powerful enough that it's prophesized that upon the Night of Eternal Darkness, Malifor will break free from his prison and walk among the living once more. Man, sure makes the first game seem inconsequential when there was a second potential event that could have led to the Dark Master escaping his confinement just weeks after the last one. I mean, they really could have just waited a few extra weeks instead of bothering with the whole kidnapping the Dragon Elders thing. I kind of wish they would have made the gap
stretching,
like
rub my eyes.
a year or two. Also, semi-related fact. My family has a habit of naming our cars for some reason. My sister's driven an Alucard and an Atlas at various times. I think my mother currently drives a Zelda. Me, I wanted to name my car something that meant something to me but wasn't so obvious. So I decided on the name Malifor. It's regal, and it sounds cool, but nobody IRL knows what it's from other than me. Either way, among the forces of evil that are ensuring the resurrection of the Dark Master is the Ape King Gaul.
Long have we waited, long have we suffered, but soon our master will return.
Who led the invasion of the Dragon Temple in the first game and also took Cinder's city. This also explains why 8 enemies are so common in these two games. So that's the primary story thread, but the other two threads are as such. First of all, the Chronicler. The Chronicler is, as he sounds, an ultra-wise dragon who chronicles all of history. He beckons Spyro in his dreams to find him and even sends him vague visions. Matter of fact, the Chronicler sending his visions actually causes Spyro to suddenly pass out multiple times. So I joke that this game should have been renamed to The Legend of Narcolepsy. So there's a good chunk of the game where you're sent on what seems like a wild goose chase, but a wild goose chase meticulously orchestrated by the Chronicler to lead you straight to him. And through his convoluted plan, you end up at his lair where you find out that he looks more like a crossbred husky than a dragon. Fun fact, by the way, the Chronicler is actually voiced by none other than Martin Jarvis. Yeah, I wasn't immediately familiar with who that was, but upon a bit of research, it turns out he's one of the most prolific and versatile British actors in the world.
I haven't had any visitors in my solitude for over 1,000 years.
Fans of the Batman Arkham series will know him as the voice of Alfred. I think he does a very good job. His voice is simultaneously very regal, but also very gentle. Despite the series' reputation, he's the only voice actor in this game who's a major Hollywood-level star who wasn't also in the previous game. I mean, they also recast Cinder, but she's being played by another career voice actor, this time Mae Whitman. Either way, it is kind of funny to think how much of their budget probably went to the voice acting. Ultimately, he gives you knowledge on a lot of history and what Spyro's role in history is acting. All-time Mae Whitman. Either way, it is kind of funny to think how much of their budget probably went to the voice acting. Ultimately, he gives you knowledge on a lot of history and what Spyro's role in history is, but he also gives you the tragic history of Cinder, which kind of leads me to the third major thread of the story, which is a fight between Spyro and the forces of evil for the fate of Cinder. Much of the game is about trying to find Cinder before something bad happens to her, and by pure chance, you keep ending up in the same place before being separated. And the reason why the Chronicler has Spyro come to him is because the Night of Eternal Darkness is set to be cataclysmic, and the Chronicler wants to save Spyro to help him live to fight another day. However, he makes a mistake in revealing that once Malifor comes back, Cinder is destined to fall back in line and become his servant just like before. Spyro, however, believes that he can save her, so he decides to defy his own fate and leaves for the Mountain of Malifor.
She was never given a choice. I have to try. I'm going, and you can't stop me.
The Chronicler, despite everything, accepts this as him taking charge of his own fate. So yeah, there's a lot more going on in this story, and I think it's a hell of a lot better presented than A New Beginning. There's a lot more layers, and presenting the story with the emotional core of the connection between Spyro and Cinder leads to a lot of compelling drama. In fact, this scene with the Chronicler has one of my favorite moments in the entire trilogy. That moment where Spyro decides to defy his own fate, because up until now, Spyro has been mostly reactionary, being led along a series of tasks on behalf of other people. And especially in this game, he's almost completely reactionary because that's the whole point. The Chronicler is leading him. But this moment is where Spyro goes from being a reactionary character to an active character because he decides he's not going to sit by and let things happen. He's going to save Cinder and stop Gaul come hell or high water. Furthermore, he's willing to fight for her, which kind of showcases that he does care for her even if they have a checkered past. I wouldn't say it's necessarily straight up love at this point, but there is an affection there that compels him to keep her safe. And ultimately, that heroic hubris bites him in the ass in the end. But I don't want to talk about that just yet. Despite that, though, the story does have a fair few flaws. First and foremost, once again, it's Sparks. This time, David Spade has been swapped out for none other than Billy West. Yeah, Billy West, one of the more famous voice actors of the 21st century, and one of my favorite voice actors on account of him voicing the main character in my all-time favorite TV show, the first 4 seasons of Futurama. You heard me. Hell, the way he voices Sparks sounds pretty much identical to Fry.
Ring low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Though that may just be his normal voice. Unfortunately, he's somehow something like 60% more annoying than he already was. I can't think of a single funny instance in the entire game. Every single line is pure weapons-grade cringe being injected straight into your ear holes.
Come on, Spyro, put that sorrow behind you and clap your hands with me. Let the joy come pouring down, rain on me. Can't you feel it? Just feel the love in the room tonight. Shut the fuck up!
And while the voice acting and character presentation is otherwise mostly pretty good beyond that, there's also this really annoying bird character whose voice actor is doing a Mr. T impression for some reason.
Get up, lazy fool! It's time to bruise, not time to snooze! I can't even look at you. You disgust me.
It might have been mildly amusing if you were simultaneously 10 years old and knew who Mr. T was, but otherwise it's just obnoxious. Matter of fact, the entire middle chunk of the game is kind of weak from a story and gameplay point of view, because that entire chunk feels like it exists purely to pad out what would otherwise be a very short game. After fighting the level 2 boss, Spyro is absolutely knocked the f*** out. Not even in the usual way. That image goes pretty hard. And he gets captured by some pirates and is forced to fight in their gladiatorial arena, and then when tits inevitably go up, he has to find the captain's quarters to see a map to where he needs to go next, and then also fight the captain, despite the fact that doing so doesn't really gain him anything. Aside from a few story-relevant instances, such as that chunk where Cinder shows up as another one of the captured gladiatorial contestants, and a moment where one of the mole people from the previous game shows up to help you out and gives you a letter from one hunter of Avalar assuring Spyro that he has allies among the occupants of the pirate fleet, there's nothing that really connects this part to the And the funny thing about the mole people, Moliere, a returning character from the previous game, assures Spyro that they will meet again under less harrowing circumstances.
I hope we can meet again. Perhaps under better circumstances?
And then he never shows up again. Once he disappears behind that ship, he's gone forever. I guess that's what happens when you switch developers between games. Though having mentioned Hunter, he's also indicative of another minor issue. The game feels like it's pandering a bit by referencing the old games, like how there's an entire cutscene seemingly dedicated to watching Sparks eat butterflies. It's like the developers saying, hey, look, it's a thing that used to happen. Please clap. Guys, you threw the baby out with the bathwater, just commit to it. No need to reference better games. Either way, I think this game has a great story. Just a shame about the rest of the game. Well, sort of. Full disclosure, this was actually the only game of the trilogy that I played when it was new. I was still under the assumption that we were working under old school Spyro logic and you could just jump in at any point. That was a mistake, because I had no idea what was going on in this game when I originally played it, and the Eternal Night also in some ways has the worst gameplay out of the entire trilogy. In fact, to a first-time player playing it completely fresh, it definitely has the worst gameplay. Hence why for a number of years I actually considered this game to be the single game that ruined my childhood. What can I say? Kids are stupid. I even kept it in the back layer of my PS2 collection so I didn't have to look at it. I hated it so much. But since I played it through twice for collection so I didn't have to look at it, I hated
Oh, we have them both on PS2.
it so much. But since I played it through twice for this video, I can actually say that not only do I think it's better than I ever gave it credit for, but it and A New Beginning have sort of swapped places in my rankings. That of course can't come without qualification because this game is essentially the exact same game, right down to only having one major combo. Only in this case, it's a slightly longer combo with slightly different animations. In fact, combat-wise, there's very little to distinguish the first two games. The only thing that sticks out as a distinct mechanic in this game is the slowdown mechanic, what's colloquially known as bullet time. You're given this as a puzzle and combat ability, and it is used to great effect. But I'm a little cynical of it for the fact that there was a period of time where every other game had some sort of similar mechanic. But either way, regardless of what's new or not, the main notable thing about the Eternal Night is that it is distinctly harder than the first game, to a pretty unreasonable degree. And it's hard to nail down any one reason for that. There are enemies that will stun you for multiple seconds at a time, but you're still vulnerable to attack during that time. You have a bunch of momentary gimmicks that only serve to make the gameplay harder. For example, these things that latch onto you that make you heavy, as well as reverse your controls. Not to mention they're also really hard to shake. Attacks are seemingly really hard to dodge, and the attacks seemingly do more damage per capita than they did before. Plus, you're expected to fight more battles and longer battles. There are a lot of little reasons that go into this being a somewhat unreasonable game, and what really stuck out to me growing up was that this game has a really nasty habit of putting what appear to be unskippable cutscenes before many of the hardest parts of the game, which made the pace grind to a halt. However, they are actually skippable. You just need to know how to do it. For some reason, both in this game and A New Beginning, to skip a cutscene, you press L1. In this case, the same button as the slowdown mechanic. That took me forever to figure out as a kid, and my god, having to sit through over long cutscenes between every attempt got really annoying. Even back then, when I had a lot more patience...
I'm gonna go lay down. And probably end it. Because my breathing is like starting to act up a little bit. Oh, Loot Ross is here.